Looking for a summer internship? As a college student, it's probably safe to say that yes, you have a lot on your plate. Not only are you trying to find a really great internship opportunity, but you also have your day-to-day school obligations as well. Hey everybody, I'm Sinead and I get it. And that's why today we have gathered the best of Indeed's career tips for finding and applying for summer internships so that you can feel prepared and excited about your future. In this video, we'll give you the 5 key steps for landing a summer internship. And if you stick around for our bonus tip, I'll also share an important step for making your professional impression shine. Sounds great, right? All right, let's dive in. Step 1, be aware of internship application timelines. So different industries and companies have their own internship timelines. For example, smaller companies or startups will often open summer internship positions later on in the spring. But on the other hand, large companies in more traditional industries such as banks, financial and or software engineering can recruit for internships a full year in advance. So that means that during your sophomore year, you'd be applying for an internship that would take place when you're a junior. And yes, that does seem like planning way ahead, but that's why it's valuable to research the process for your target field as soon as you've identified it. Now, that being said, most summer internship postings open in early January, and submitting an application as soon as opportunities open often provides you with the advantage, especially for competitive paid internships at large companies, because applying immediately helps employers notice you first. So it's definitely worthwhile. And of course, that does not mean you should not apply if you can't submit ASAP. But when you can, give yourself that leg up. So if you are interested in a summer internship, expect to apply in January. And that means that you should start identifying your ideal field and companies in November, so that you can use the month of December to develop your application and materials, and then be ready to rock and apply for that early January deadline. Now, note that this does not include the very important task of networking, but don't worry, we will discuss that later on in this video. Now, before we move on to step 2, if you've watched this far, please give us a like and of course subscribe to our channel and be sure to hit that notification bell if you want to stay up to date with Indeed's career tips. And then head down to the comments and let us know what internships you are looking to apply for and what steps you've taken to land that summer internship. All right, now let's talk about the materials you'll need to approach the application process. Step 2, develop your materials. All right, now we do have an entire playlist on resume tips listed in the description box below. But here are the basics of what you'll need to apply for internship opportunities. A resume. This is your professional calling card, your promotional piece that highlights all of the wonderful things you've accomplished professionally and or academically. It should be 1 page long, error-free, visually balanced, and of course, easy to read. Word docs and PDFs are ideal, and you should avoid files like PNGs, JPEGs, or any file created in Illustrator or Photoshop. Focus on impact in your bullet points. It's not expected that you have tons of professional experience, and that's okay. But it is important always to include information that speaks to your skills and your ability to handle the requirements of this specific role. Think relevant experiences, including professional, academic, and extracurricular. Each bullet point should start with a strong action verb like built, contributed, or analyzed. Aim to describe your work in terms of impact, rather than just skimming through your responsibilities. For example, if you organized a community service event for a local group, don't just say assisted with park cleanup project. Instead, try adding in numbers and details that show the effect that you had, like coordinated a 20-team park beautification project to remove litter and allow for the safe use of public space. And finally, tailor your resume. Now, this is perhaps the most important point because each job requires different skills. So be sure that you are updating your resume to speak to your qualifications for that specific role. This will allow you to stand out to a recruiter and be more likely to pass any automated applicant tracking systems that an employer uses to screen applications. Now, if you're not sure what skills to highlight, look right at what is mentioned in the job description. It's a great place to start, and it kind of seems like cheating, but it's not. And for even more information on how to craft a standout resume, be sure to check out this video right up here. Now, aside from having a resume handy, it's also very important that your professional materials include a cover letter. Now, do you have to write one for every job? No, but if a job asks for a cover letter, write one. It should be a page long and targeted for that specific role. Aim to explain your background, why you are interested, and what you have to contribute. And if you've never written a cover letter before, don't even worry, we've also got you covered on that front with this video right up here. Now, what if it says cover letter optional? Yeah, this one is tricky. So due to the volume of applications, most optional cover letters don't actually get read. However, if you do submit one, it does show extra commitment that an employer may value. So given your time and interest in the opportunity, consider whether it's worth it for you to write one. Now, on the contrary, don't submit a cover letter if the posting does not ask for one. Also, do not submit a cover letter if you don't have the time to write one that is thoughtful and tailored to that specific company. Let's face it, submitting a generic cover letter or one with a few too many typos does more harm than it does good. And once you've gathered your materials and you're feeling so good and so confident about approaching your next internship, it's time to move on to step number 3. Lean into your network. Now, when you are in college and you hear the term network, it can be easy to assume that you don't have one. But the truth is, everybody has a network. And networking is often a critical factor in landing any job or internship. So start by thinking about your community, maybe the people you played ball with or people you were in clubs with. Essentially, your network is just a group of relationships that can help you grow, including your friends, old teammates, and professors. Now, the trick is to ask yourself, all right, well, who do I reach out to? Remember, you aren't just looking for people that can directly offer you a job. You're mainly seeking advice, industry insight, and recommendations in an unprofessional setting. So simply start by getting a cup of coffee with the people you are closest with, like your family, your friends, and professors that you trust. And see if they have connections with a company that you're interested in, or if they know of an opportunity that may be a great fit for you. For example, you may see a classmate on social media working at a company that you're interested in. Try reaching out and seeing if they would be willing to share their experience with you. This will give you a chance to hear the story, and it will also give you an opportunity to evaluate whether or not this internship would actually be a good fit for you. And then you can also expand your efforts to a broader circle, like upperclassmen or an alum from your school, some of which could have previously interned at one of your ideal companies. They may be able to flag your application to the hiring manager or just share tips on how they landed the role. Now, you may wonder if it's acceptable to reach out to someone at your target company to whom you're not otherwise connected. And the answer is yes. If you choose to do this, just send a short message that points to a commonality or shared interest, if possible, and then explain that you'd like to learn more about what they do rather than jumping into asking for help with your application. Now, a message could be as simple as, "Hello, Tom. My name is Lisa, and I'm a sophomore at State University majoring in economics. When reviewing the alumni network, I came across your profile and noticed that you currently work at Company A as a financial analyst. I saw that you also graduated from SU with a similar degree, and I was hoping that you would be open to meeting. I'm definitely interested in learning more about the field and your experience working at Company A." All right, now do not be discouraged if you don't hear back, because it's likely they won't respond to a stranger's message. But hey, it's always worth a try. And finally, don't underestimate your college resources. Get in touch with your career services office or even with your academic advisor if your school doesn't have a designated career center, and talk to them about opportunities that they are aware of. School-specific career pages often provide in-depth info about what companies are looking for, such as specific skills, GPA or school year requirements, that type of thing. Also, career fairs can be immensely helpful. They allow you to make a human connection with an employer that's interested in recruiting people from your college. They go a long way. And if you do go to a career fair, make sure to bring a strong resume with you, which brings me to my next step. Step 4, apply to a list of multiple internships. Now, not to stress you out, but applying for an internship is a lot like applying for college. Okay, don't panic. I just mean that you want to get the best internship possible, of course, but you also want to give yourself your best shot at getting one, period. So when you're doing the research about your internships that you would like to apply for, keep in mind the competitiveness of your target list. Just like college applications, it's wise to have reaches, which are your dream opportunities. Could be highly competitive and maybe you don't meet all the requirements, but it's still something that you really want. Targets, opportunities that feel like you have a good shot at. Safeties, opportunities you would consider a slam dunk. Could be local opportunities or with companies that recruit heavily from your school. Typically, big name companies with a lot of public awareness attract the most competition and can be the hardest to get. So while you should certainly apply to some big companies if they interest you, don't hesitate to also check out mid-sized, small, or even startup opportunities. Not only are these companies often a bit less competitive, but they can also offer benefits as a result of their smaller size. For example, if there are fewer interns, you may be more likely to get significant responsibilities and accomplishments that can boost your work skills and your overall resume. These days, internships are increasingly competitive, so more is better. But do keep in mind your bandwidth. You want to make sure that each application you submit is professional and tailored to the job at hand. And once you've completed a handful of applications, let's get prepared for our next step. Step 5, get ready to interview. Oh yes, this is the moment that you have been waiting for. This is your chance to interview for your summer internship. Now, we do have a lot to share as far as interviewing goes, which you can definitely check out in the description box below. But in short, here is how you'll need to prepare. Research and reference. So before the interview, investigate the company, the role, and if possible, your interviewer too. And when appropriate during the interview, refer to the knowledge that you've learned. Show up prepared. That means early. Yes, you definitely want to be on time. You want to show up dressed professionally and with relevant materials, such as a notebook, resume, or your portfolio. And consider your answers to common interview questions, such as, tell me about yourself. Why should we hire you? And what is your greatest strength? Now, if there are questions that you are nervous about being asked, take the extra time to practice those too. And ask a friend to help you practice your interview responses, because stumbling over your responses during an interview isn't comfortable for anyone involved, let's be real. So practice your personal pitch and learn how to brag about yourself in a professional manner, of course. And finally, bring several questions to ask the interviewer. This will demonstrate your thoughtfulness, curiosity, and your interest, in addition to building a rapport with the interviewer. So you could ask questions like, what's a typical day like for an intern? Or what's an example of a project that an intern could be working on? And now here is a pro tip. Be sure to follow up and to say thank you. After your first interview, be sure to send a thank you email to both the interviewer and an update to the contact who may have helped you get to that step. After a hiring decision has been made, touch base with that contact again and thank them for their support. Now, the goal here isn't to overwhelm them, but rather to keep them engaged and to foster their investment in you. Following up is so important because it shows thoughtfulness, thoroughness, and eagerness for the job. And it also helps you build rapport for future opportunities if it's not a yes at this very moment. If you found this video helpful and you are ready to go apply for your dream summer internship, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on our weekly career tips. For even more tips on interviewing, I recommend checking out our interview tips playlist. And we've also got you covered with 7 advanced interviewing hacks. I'm Sinead. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.